Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Oh, come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Hello, Miss Peggy. Hey, Miss 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Sanctuary. How are you? I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. All you beautiful, amazing, wonderfully, and beautifully made mothers were celebrated by all those munchkins that you decided to bring into the world. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, say 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 hello. Hi, everyone. Shout out, Miss Peggy. Hello, Olive Beauty Empire. Hey, Mr. Ufeso, how are you? Happy Tuesday as well. Oh, that was, see, my voice was like, what do you want to do today? I was like, do you want to go out now? I don't want to go anywhere. Like, just stay home and sleep and just, we had, breakfast. We hardly, I don't even, I rarely eat breakfast, but we had breakfast together on Sunday. So we haven't done that in a long time, which was great. What's going on, Miss Peggy? Hey, Epic Movements. What's going on? Happy Tuesday. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, Miss Peggy? Hi, TikTok family. Come on in. Happy Tuesday to everybody. I was just talking and asking. I hope hello, Island Gal. Hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Took some time to remember that you have to take care of you. You cannot take care of everybody else if you don't take care of yourself. So just a reminder. That's it. I was supposed to email you to ask you about it. Well, I'm still, my email is still the same. Still waiting on you. Still waiting on you whenever you're ready. Hey, Facebook and YouTube family. What's going on, people? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Live, making all the dollars, right? I know. But anyway, I had a great Mother's Day. I felt loved. It's a blessing. It's a privilege that I know that I think I speak for other mothers that we do not take for granted. It's the most difficult, tasking, demanding job you ever have as a woman, but it's also in the same vein, is the most rewarding journey in this thing called life. So we thank God for the privilege, and for those who are waiting and still expecting, waiting on God for his blessings and expecting the fruit of the womb, and just hoping against hope. Remember, as the God of Abraham is the God of Sarah. It's never too late for God that you would experience the joy of motherhood. If that's your desire. Yes. But anyway, welcome in. If you are just joining us for the first time, Ash Rajput 51, welcome. Hello, I'm Salami. If you're just joining us for the first time, let us know where you're joining from, what state, what city, what country. We come together as a group of immigrants to celebrate, to rejoice, to encourage, to testify. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Everything else, you got to figure out where the heck where you lived. Yes, and we do represent immigration clients in all 50 states. Contact information. Thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. 334-341-4475. info@olalayalawfirm.com. olalayalawfirm.com. That is our website. You can go there, and I think we've got quite a bit of information. Very, very easy website to navigate. Browsing is straightforward. You're not gonna. It's not. See, I don't complicate things. That's my life is very straightforward. It's got to be easy to figure out. But anyway, so Mr. Gwenga from Denver, welcome. Thank you for joining. And also, if you are just joining us, we like I said, we come together. Some nights we have topics to discuss. Some nights we take on questions and discuss those questions, but nothing specific to anyone's case. It's just, well, good. Thank you, Peak Movement. Hello, Miss Musalami. How are you? Nothing specific to anyone's case, so general information, but we do offer tailored consultations, paid consultations. So this is my free version. This is my version of free consultation. If you've got something you want to discuss in details about your case, then you've got to set up a consultation with us. This boy of mine not allowed me to go to Disney with his friends because he got detention, not money paid, because I would have to explain myself. I didn't do against biology. Uh-oh. It's okay. It's everything will work out well. Don't even sweat it. Listen, everything works together for our good. But anyway, once again, our contact is 334-341-4475. Visit our website, @olalayelawfirm.com. Follow, like, share, subscribe at Olale Immigration, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's all the details for now. So let's talk immigration, y'all. What are we talking about tonight? Immigration news for you. So what's been going on in the immigration world? Let's just run through that, and then we'll get to as many questions as possible. It's been a long day for me because I had a trial. Well, yeah, I had an administrative hearing from 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. Ọmọ wa ṣe oríṣi lórúkọ mi. Ọmọ wa ṣe oríṣi lórúkọ mi. Hello, Miss Albina. How are you? Listen. So literally, I'm still in my work clothes. It's like, okay, let's just come in. 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. with 30 minutes break. Yeah, it's the story of my life. But I think I've said it before. That's non-immigration case. I like calling one of my side hustle because I represent the DHR, Department of Human Resources, is what we call it in Alabama. Most states know it as Department of Human Services. So when you go take a child, but in this case, the person was accused of child abuse, and they have a right to request a hearing, and so we had to put on. So basically, this administrative trial. Yeah. I mean, you can only help because someone said it up in the game. I'm telling you. But anyway, let's talk immigration. So what things I just needed to know, what's been going on in the immigration world, what you should be aware of so that when you file your case or if your case is pending, you are aware and you know what direction or what resources to look for. So let's start with forms. Someone had reached out to our office today because they filed an I-45 themselves, that it was rejected twice and all that, and it was just simply because I said today's Tuesday, yesterday, because I didn't have consulted being in trial loading. I reached out to our firm yesterday because they had their I-45 rejected. Turns out that they were using an outdated version of the form that USCIS no longer accepts. So that brings me to my very first update of immigration news, what you should know. A lot of forms have been updated. So you have to be aware of the acceptable edition of the form that you are filing. So if you are wondering, okay, what forms have been updated, I-45 has been updated for a couple months now. So if you are looking at something other than the January 20, 2025 edition of the I-45, then you're looking at the wrong edition, and your case may be most likely be rejected. So be aware that the USCIS has new I-45 application for green card, I-765 work authorization. A lot of people use that. There is a new version. However, the current edition is still valid up until May 28th. Starting May 29th, you're going to be using the new edition, which is, I think, the January 20. I-360 VAWA petition form has been updated. It is just what I usually do in my practice is, unless we are right smack in the middle of a case that is going to go out within the next week, if we still have like 2 weeks or there, but even if it's going to be going out before that new effective date of an edition date, By default, I just tell my staff, listen, let's just switch over to the new form so that there is no, ifs, and buts, whatever. Let's just be done with it. And so that's just best practice. So if you're doing anything, even though you've got some versions that are still good up until May 28th, it's just best to just use the new edition of the forms. So you've got the I-765 work authorization, you've got I-360 for VAWA petition or CGs, you've got I-90 replacement of green card, renewal of green card, I-601, which is your waiver. Let's see, and some, so this is what I always tell people. And then, so there's some things you can do on your own. For instance, if you want to file for a renewal of the green card, I-90 is a pretty straightforward application. This is what I always tell people. Make sure that you go on the USCIS.gov website on their form section, look at whatever form you want to do. If you're filing your case online, obviously the form is already in their system, so you're not looking at addition. But if you are doing paper filing, then go on the USCIS.gov website, look at the forms section, and look at the most recent edition of the form that you are about to file, making sure just to confirm that you've got the accurate edition that you're about to send out, because right now we're seeing quite a bit of delays in receipt notices, especially when it comes to bar-related cases. So if you are able to minimize the delay, because if you're going to be waiting 60 to 90 days for you to even get your receipt notice, the last time USCIS they're not that great in letting you know you submitted something that was that's not been updated. They'll take their sweet time to send it back to you, and then you're starting from square one. So just look at your forms before you file your case, and be sure that you're using the most recent or an acceptable edition. Okay, so that's on forms. Interviews, green card interviews. We are going to be expecting, I'm glad we have like everybody, based on what, as in my last two interviews, that's what those officers have confirmed. They are going to be scheduling, for the most part, they will be scheduling interviews in your I-485, especially marriage-based cases, will be scheduled for interviews. Now, so one of the officers back in March had told me that everyone who files an I-485 will be scheduled for an interview, regardless of whether it's marriage-based, regardless of whether it is employment-based, whatever it's humanitarian-based. Okay. However, I am seeing in my firm, I cannot speak for everybody else, I am seeing in my firm that employment-based cases, green card applications, are not being scheduled for interview yet, knock on wood. The cases that we have had to handle within the last 2-3 months when employment-based green cards, they are not, none of them has been scheduled for an interview. We still sent out, and by we, I mean my assistant sent out one to Mr. Olabi today. Employment-based, it was not scheduled for an interview, but we are seeing that marriage-based cases are all scheduled for interview. And we're also seeing that cases recently filed are quickly being scheduled for interview. So all the cases that I've filed between January and the second week in March, I want to say, we've either had interviews in them or they have been scheduled for an interview. So something is going on. They just scheduled. So expect to have an interview in your I-485 application. And expect to also have an interview, even if you've got an I-130 petition that your spouse filed for you that was approved. In spite of that, we're seeing them still call back couples for the I-485 portion of it. And they may still send you yet another notice to appear for an interview, even after your I-130 has been approved. And that's because, and I know that for a fact, because I've seen that happen in 2 of my cases. The second one is that they needed to have some they had additional questions, and they reaffirmed their approval. What we have one coming up on Friday where their I-130 had been approved, but they got a call-in letter for the same I-130. It's not for a 45, for the same I-130. And so that's when they consulted with me last week and saying, hey, at this one, we think we need a lawyer because we're not sure what's going on. So it is still possible for USCIS to schedule you for yet another interview in spite of an approved I-130. All right, so that's that. So if you get an interview notice, there's no need to worry or to fret, because it's just going to be standard for almost everybody. Let's see. And also, when you are attending, talking of interviews, when you are attending this interview, they are bragging and brandishing all of that on their website. By they, I mean USCIS. They started this craziness now that they're going through files of immigrants that are coming to the field offices for interviews. And if you happen to be one of those immigrants that has an unexecuted removal order that was issued against you by an immigration judge, and you're appearing for an interview, there is the possibility that the person can be detained. It is not, somebody said this is factual. So my point is, if you have a removal order that's not been taken care of, you may want to, PD request is not ongoing anymore. So you may want to get an attorney to help you file a motion to reopen, or, either before the BIA or the immigration court, and have that taken care of. Now, it's not happening in every single field office, but select field that is happening, that's 100% loss for the person. So you're just minding your own darn business. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 question law, in the next thing they're calling ICE on you. It makes no sense, right? Okay, I got another fragrance today. I am a fragrance fanatic, I'm telling y'all. I just smelled it like, okay, that was pretty cool. Anyway, so be aware that it's possible that as an immigrant going in for your marriage-based case, if you've got a removal order, or if you've got any criminal record that is going to fit within aggravated felony or crime involving moral turpitude, that, or whatever they feel that is a basis for them to detain you, that's what we're seeing. So just be aware. If you have an attorney on your case, go with your attorney to your interview, but just to be aware, not to make you afraid. It's just to be aware. Awareness is, you can't live in ignorance. You've just got to be aware. It's not so you know the right steps to take. All right. Another trend we're seeing now with USCIS is in VAWA cases, especially, they are going hard on and cracking down on VAWA cases. And they have launched an intensive investigation into VAWA petitions, because they have, I'm sure it's happening in Texas, I won't be surprised, but knock on wood, I have quite a number of clients. I think most of my clients live in Texas and Georgia, those two states. Y'all just love me there, which I appreciate. Thank you. And for Georgia, I have quite a number of clients who live in Georgia, but they're scheduled for interviews in my field office in Montgomery, Alabama. So I'm like, oh, okay, you just came to my backyard. So talking about cases, they are doing quite a large scale investigation on VAWA cases, because they have said that it's one case type that has the highest level of fraudulent applications, fraudulent petitions. It is possible for USCIS to investigate whether or not you actually were abused. It is possible for them to investigate whether or not you actually live with that spouse. And so shared residency is a big deal now. Whenever you're filing a VAWA petition, this is where I want you to take note of. The VAWA, and this is just based on what I'm seeing in RFEs. And shout out to Mr. Patel. His VAWA case was approved today without any RFEs. Thank you, Jesus. His case was one of those cases where we had, God works in mysterious ways. I put up his file this week, and I was like, I'll be damned. Everything total was, including all forms, was like 120 something pages. But then again, because I said we don't have a whole lot, but we're going to tell you a story. And I remember that was one case I really enjoyed working on, because I knew he listen. But so and just to put things in perspective, that was filed in March 2022, I believe, March 2022. Yeah, because we had received about 6 prima facie determination. He was just tired of them, like, well, I didn't control what happened. But shout out to Mr. Patel. Congratulations on approval of his VAWA case. If you look on, when you're filing a VAWA petition, be sure that your shared residence, because that's where we're seeing USCIS issue so many RFEs. be sure that your page 14, where it specifically asks you what addresses you lived with your spouse, what specific period did you live with your spouse, be sure that that information tallies with the information on your declaration. When you are stating when you live with your spouse, duration, make sure it tallies with your declaration. And also, if you are filing a VAWA case after you had filed a regular marriage case, remember that you've already indicated where you lived in that previous marriage case. When you file a VAWA case, compare that the information you're entering as far as shared residency period does not contradict the information that you entered when you did your regular marriage-based case. It does not contradict the information you provide to a therapist that you see, and it does not contradict the information on your affidavits and or witness affidavits. USCIS is using your information on your forms to now attack you and to go through, one RFE I was just retained for on Friday was the address issue. So the abusive spouse had used her mother's address, and that was not the address that my client, who's not my client now, had indicated, and it was a different address from the one they had done with the regular marriage. So that is something. Keep in mind, they will go back and pull up your record. The fact that you convert to a VAWA case does not mean that the previous record just disappears. It doesn't go poof, be gone. No, it is part of what they're going to factor in because it is under your alien number. They're going to review it just to make sure that it's nothing that makes them believe that you're just filing a VAWA case just to get away from being able to filing a regular marriage case or based on fraud or based on sham marriage. So just be aware of that. So form update. Let's see. Investigation on the VAWA case can be detained. Shared residency. I think we talked about real ID compliance last week. So just a refresher. Just make sure that you are. Hello, Mr. Maji. This is what's today? May 13th. An unforgettable day. That's a miracle. Funny thing is, Mr. Maji, I actually thought about you over the weekend. The reason being, I still have your original approval notices. So I brought some that were like, okay, why do we have so many green or lime green notices here? Let's go through them and see who needs them. Some people like, okay, keep it as souvenir, like in fishing. I have enough souvenir, but yours is one as thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. Yours is happy birthday in advance. Look at you, happy birthday. I think you're really young. I could be your mama. I think so. I don't know, your big sister. But I know you're still in your 20s, I think. Aren't you still in your 20s? I think so. But anyway, so you have your approval notice, your green card in I-130 approval. What do you want me to do with it? Like, let me know. Because I was like, okay, I'm 30 years. Oh, okay. You try. We'll try, Goni. I'll try. Well, yeah. To be 30 again. Not thank God for today. But happy birthday in advance. So be sure. Okay, I think I was talking about VAWA. Okay, so we talked about VAWA, shared residency. Let's see. Oh, one more thing to talk about. If you are still expecting your receipt notice from the VAWA office, it is not uncommon, and I've been saying this for quite a while. So let me show you proof that there's nothing to worry about if you haven't received your notices as far back as if you filed your case as far back as February. So let me see if I can share this on the screen with y'all. Let's see. Just to make sure that my client's information is not here before I open. All right. So let me see if you're not on, well, for you to see this, so that I think it puts things in perspective for you, you've got to be on YouTube or Facebook. Let's see. Pretend. Share screen. What's going on? You see everything on my screen. Well, maybe not. Where is that? Is that window? Okay, right here. Okay, let me share this with you. So if you are on YouTube or Facebook, let me know if you're able to see my screen. YouTube, Facebook, let me know if you're able to see my screen. Yes, no, yes. Hello, Miss Christiana. How are you? Can you see my screen? If you're on Facebook, YouTube, let me know. Somebody say yes, somebody say yes. And you can always, if you're on Instagram or TikTok, you can always go back and watch this. But I want you to know that there's nothing to worry about. So, okay, perfect. Thank you. If you look on my screen, and I'll just say what it is that I'm showing, but I wanted you guys, this is one of the receipt notices we got today. Thank you, Miss Amosa. How are you? We just got it today. And if you look at where I am let me go back here. Okay. So where my mouse is right here, this case was filed, or better still, USCIS received this VAWA petition on February 14, 2025. And so that's the receipt date. And then if you come down and look at the notice date, the notice date is May 6, 2025. So we filed this case almost 3 months ago, and almost 3 months later, they're just sending us. It should be 3 months. April, May. Yeah, almost 3 months later is how long it took them to send us the receipt notices for this case, and we filed companion applications with it. So, if you are waiting on your receipt notices from the VAWA office, and you're saying, "Hey, Sister, I want to file that 200 years ago," in all seriousness, you filed in February. You can see this was middle of February, so it was almost 3 months. So give yourself a good solid 60 to 90 days before you start freaking out. So, and before the end of the 90 days, I will anticipate that you will receive, you get notices. So, but just so you know, there's nothing you did wrong, as long as you make sure that all your information was correct. You didn't send in any, or you made out any expired forms. If your lawyer tells you that, because I have quite a number of clients like, Sister Lawyer, notices me now. There's nothing we can do. It is what it is. I've sent them, emails, and they've told me once again, don't send us any more emails, and I have to listen because it's a different administration now. Because I ain't gonna be flexing all the flex I was doing under Biden. It's flexing only limits. So, but if there's nothing you're doing or you could have done wrong, it's just what it is. So just exercise some patience. And I think that's about all the updates I have for you tonight. I hope that helps, give you some information. Once again, if we can help you with your immigration case, please contact our office 334-341-4475. And that's all, sure, people. Let's get as many questions as possible. All right, let's see. This is one I want to hide. Okay. All right. Disclaimer. Questions, responses to your questions are general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. Hello, Mr. Chinedu. How are you? How long, anything about how long anything is going to take, your work permit, your green card, your VAWA, go to uscis.gov/present time. Oh, by the way, one more update. The visa bulletin is out for the month of June. If you are, not much has changed with family-based categories, but if you are in the EB2 category, it's going to progress. So June, July, August, September, October, 4 months. So hopefully it keeps progressing, because I got some cases that we're stuck. So it's right now in June. We're stuck in September, October, November. So I know those in September, October, we're going to be able to get through that. That's great. November, I've got 3 clients I can think of, or clients that are represented. And I know that, we'll move forward, that I can think of, that we're just waiting on that. So just so you know. Okay. So any questions about how long something is taking, please go on the USCIS website to figure that out. Let's see. Married. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, Mr. Hamed. How are you? Happy Mother's Day, Miss Christiana. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. First Mother's Day as a green card holder. I hope it was extra special. Let's see. Good evening, Ola F. Olabisi, hello, how are you? I just changed my name to my maiden name. Please, I hope that's okay. For what? You hope that's okay in what context? Married filing separate, is it a red flag? Not necessarily. Depends on your reason why you're filing separately. Some people file separately because one spouse is wages are being garnished. Some file separately because if they do not do that, none of them will get refunds because one owes more. So it just depends on if you've got a reasonable explanation why you filed separately. I'm so loving this fragrance. I'm so loving it. I think my fragrances they're a reflection of my personality. I have a very strong personality. For someone who's as tiny as I am, like y'all. See, God has a great sense of humor. If He made you 5 foot tall, He'll give you a deep voice, so you don't feel bad. Because I'm telling you, people hear my voice from afar, like, auntie, nani, auntie, sister, but like, where's the rest of you? Because we didn't, yeah. Just like today, y'all pray for me, because this mouth is only Jesus that can help me. But then again, in my defense, like I said, I had a hearing this morning. So the opponent, the opposing counsel is someone who's been practicing since Jesus first came. So he feels that because he's been practicing, he came to the world with Jesus, the first coming of Jesus, and then I was like, listen, I don't think this guy understands that I'm full-blooded Nigerian. We don't fear nothing. Like, I don't care if I was practicing from yesterday, but please understand. But anyway, Baba Isha shaking. I had to tell that about, like, hey, listen here. We're going to keep this very professional, or I'm going to cut you down to size. Are we clear? Even the judge was like, pray for me, because this mouth it's the just pray for me. But yeah. Anyway, asylum was administratively closed and then applied for U visa, but it's still pending. My question is, and using U visa, and since U visa is pending administratively closed, asylum affected. If your asylum is administratively closed, and it is administratively closed, there's nothing you can do unless, although keep in mind, admin closed cases are being reopened, but there's no update on any U visa. You're just going to have to wait until it's adjudicated. Have they stopped issuing Social Security number to new EAD holders? It's not like they have stopped. Good question, a Jamaican family love. It's not like they've stopped. The Social Security office has not Holy Spirit activated. I'm telling you. And Social Security office is still going to be issuing you Social Security number and card. But what stopped is USCIS is no longer notifying the, because when you file for your work permit, it would ask you, do you, and the question is still there, but the thing is they're no longer notifying the Social Security office that would now automatically issue you a Social Security card. In the last 40 to 45 days of all the initial work authorization that we filed for those who've never had Social Security cards issued or numbers issued to them, we've only had one out of at least 12 cases that we got the card mailed to our office. So every other person, I just tell them, let's see what happens in the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks passes by, then they have to go to the Social Security office to apply for that. So I'm not really sure how that is efficient for them, but that's what we're seeing. Okay, thanks, Mary. You're welcome, Miss Mary. Good evening, Show. Any explanation on recalendar of removal order? What do you mean recalendar removal order? How do you recalendar removal order? Okay, let's go to TikTok. Please do not repeat questions. It helps when we can go. What's the time? 9:06. How long should? Okay, no, that's the last one. Let's go here. Okay, there we go. Hello. Happy Mother's Day, Iris. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. From Benin Republic, foul hairstyle. Thank you for joining. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that. I just got my work permit approved through VAWA after 4 months. What's next? For you to wait until they approve your VAWA case within 3 to 4 years. I need to speak to you. Ted Tab African Store. If you go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, you'll be able to schedule a consultation to book an appointment to discuss your case. If my husband just filed divorce while I have a pending 751, can I inform USCIS now while waiting? Best practice is to do that so that they do not approve your 751 in error. But it will also depend on how long it's going to take, and it's just not a straightforward letter like, yeah, well, I'm going through divorce. Is this something that you need to not convert to a divorce waiver, or is it something you can wait out where it's going to be approved in spite of going through the divorce? It's just a whole lot of questions that any attorney would want to ask you. Let's see. Is it possible to be arrested at citizenship interview? It is, because they have done that before and they actually publicized it. So, but it's not now. Let me just be clear. The fact that somebody else was arrested during their citizenship application interview does not mean you're going to be arrested if you have nothing in your record to worry about. So, if you have been scheduled for an interview for N400, how long does it take to get anything about how long? Like I said, that's another question I can answer. My husband doesn't file taxes. Can he petition for me? Short answer, yes. You're just going to need a joint sponsor. If someone is a derivative citizen, so you basically acquired citizenship, but never applied for the N600 or passport, it is still a citizen. Yeah, it doesn't change, but it will be best to apply for a document that's proof of citizenship, as long as the person actually did acquire citizenship. But that doesn't change because you haven't applied for anything. Okay. What is the difference between annulment and divorce? So divorce basically is let me see. The most straightforward way to explain that is annulment is as if the marriage never happened. That's an annulment. So you're annulling something, nullifying it, so it was neither nil zero. It never even happened. It's basically what an annulment does. So that if someone says that have you ever been divorced? If you get an annulment and they ask you a question, have you ever been divorced, you can legally say no, because that marriage never happened. So you're never married, so you never, the marriage just never occurred. And compared to a divorce where there is the acknowledgement of a valid marriage, but that marriage has not come to an end. So that's basically the difference between annulment and divorce. And in immigration world, annulment has an adverse impact on your case, because if your spouse, the petitioning spouse, does an annulment, then that can potentially affect your status, whether you're still going through it, or after it's been filed, or when you get a green card, depending on the type that you file. So for instance, some people who file VAWA can be exempt to some extent. But that's just general information on that. Okay. Can a spouse of an EB2 I-140 approved applicant still change status from F2 to F1? As long as you're eligible, there's nothing that says you cannot. Obviously, you're going to have to show you have the immigrant intent. However, USCIS actually released a policy either a year or 2 years ago, one of the two, don't quote me on that an F status holder is not going to be penalized just because you've got an employment-based petition that's been approved or pending that you self-petition or an employer filed on your behalf. Is USCIS still sending an ID stamp, or you have to go to the office to get you can do either one, but I've seen one of my clients, they still got a 994 that was sent to them. But some people just prefer to make an appointment and go to the USCIS office. Okay. Can someone who has a 10-year green card but is divorced, can he travel? I don't answer travel questions. Direct that to the attorney who represented in your case. Let's see. What's the time now? 12. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm supposed to be heading to Denver, Colorado next month for my conference. We'll see. I have an appointment with you next week. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Looking forward to meeting you next week. Is my schedule full for this week already? Listen, I can't think beyond this specific date because that's just too much. Says like I missed your emails. But it's good. You have what is better than my emails, which is the green card itself. So yeah. Coming into that, yeah. Hello, Queen Fumi. How are you? Queen Fumi, visa bulletin is going to June. They're going to get to October come June. So fingers crossed that come July, hopefully they get to November. If they do, that will be awesome for you and the kids. Hello, Mama Basam. Hello. Mama Basam Neil. Oh, because someone decided to eat apple in the garden. It's always here. Greetings to you as well, Miss for me. Let's see. Hello, Miss Geraldine. How are you? This is my child. Y'all, anyone child winding down for school? We're about done. I think we have just this week and next week. I mean, yeah, this week and next week. God is in control. Amen. Amen. Congratulations, Mr. P. I was sending the message first to him. Sorry, I'm late today. Just got back from New Mexico. Okay, what did you go there to? Yeah, I'm nosing like that. Okay. I'd like to get them. If you send me a payment link for the shipping, I appreciate it. No problem. I think I brought them home with me, so I'll send them. I think the reason why we didn't send it with the green card was they came in after. I think you remember they came in later on, so you wanted your green card immediately. So there you go. Hello, Miss Pam. Shalafia Lewa. Hello, Miss Pam. That's my big sis from another mama. Hey, mama. I'm talking to mama. My mom is on Editon 63. Y'all say hello to my mother. Holy Spirit activated. There was a mistake on my work authorization. The mistake is my birth year. It was different from what they put. So what's your question? So what's the question you have? What can you do? Send it back to them. You've got, so as long as you're sure it was their error, you don't actually even have to fill another IS 765, and you don't have to pay. Just go on USCIS.gov. Just put in the replacement of the work authorization due to USCIS error. It will tell you there's a specific address that you can mail it to. Hello, Miss Eniela. How are you? I filed an application this month, but my husband is not willing to file for me. My question is is this legal? Since I think marriage case will be faster than my VAWA, is this doable, please? You can always withdraw your VAWA petition and let him file for you, but keep in mind that usually raises a red flag with USCIS. But as long as there was nothing, there's nothing in your VAWA petition that was not credible or true, nothing stops you from withdrawing that and reverting back to an I-130 being filed on your behalf. But that means you're going to be at someone else's mercy yet again. So when are you going to come into Tampa? Soon. Let's just wait and see. Hey, Dainty, how are you? Can a green card holder file for a fiancé abroad? No. Only citizens can petition for fiancés. But you can get married and then file for them. But it will depend on how you got your green card. If you got your green card through marriage, you cannot file for someone else within the first 5 years of getting your green card until after 5 years or when you become a citizen. You're welcome, lady underscore. Yeah, it's really, really straightforward. So just in that case, you're going to send in, for instance, a copy of your form that you submitted, a copy of your the form mainly, because obviously your passport page, validated page, will give them your birth certificates will be evidence to show your actual birth year, but also a copy of your form to show that that error was on their end and not on your end. Okay. All right, people. I think we went through that pretty fast, and thank you for not repeating questions. That was very, very helpful. The Social Security Office said I have to wait 3 months after age to apply through them for certain. Does this sound correct? I cannot speculate to what your SS administration told you. Thanks for your response. You're welcome. Is okay. So y'all, we put up a post. I think it was today. Y'all see the white South Africans that are given refugee status and being ushered into the country on a chartered plane that your tax dollars are paying for, and yet the brown skinned people were denied refugee. They closed almost all refugee camps at this point. A long back or so. That's all. Is it a mistake if okay, I don't know. I can't speak to that, Dino. Is it a mistake if USCIS issues a 10-year green card when my marriage is less than 2 years? Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is. And you don't want to, if they issued you a 10-year green card when your marriage is less than 2 years, and make sure the calculation is right. But if you've calculated and you were married for less than 2 years on the day, if your marriage is less than 2 years from the date of your residence since date on your green card, then that was an error, and you want to have to correct it, because if it's not corrected, you're going to be deemed to not have been lawfully admitted. So you just, people are like, hey, I keep card. No, it's in their record, and they've already covered themselves. Like if they find out within the first 5 years that they made an error, that error, regardless of their own error, it's going to affect you. So do the right thing and just let them know. So that's what I would recommend. Okay. Listen to that. I think most people listen is just, yeah. But anyway, all right. Let's see. I follow you on Instagram. Thank you, Erica of Texas. I appreciate that. How long to wait for your K1 visa? I think it's also depends on what are you talking about, the USCI stage or embassy stage. If you're talking about an embassy stage, it would depend on your embassy as well. Can you apply for Niger passport after getting green card through marriage after filing for asylum? I usually don't recommend that. I usually say that wait till you become a citizen. Hello, Mr. Kim. How are you? What happens next after proceedings termination without approval? File for your green card. What are my chances after my first petition was denied due to lack of good divorce from Nigeria? What do you mean? What are your chances on what? Okay. My VAWA is self-submitted and a bit over the expected processing stage. Can I get an attorney to represent me and ask why it's taking too long? First of all, have you put in, hello, Finance Shandy. How are you? Have you put in your priority date in the USCIS.gov processing time calculator? If you have not, that's what I would say to do first. Be sure that it's also number processing time. If you've done that and it's also number processing time, besides asking, making inquiries, congressional assistance requests, email to Vermont Service Center, there really isn't anything else that you may need an attorney for right now, other than if you plan to sue them because it's outside normal processing time. So you just have to take those steps first of all to see. Okay. All right, folks. That's all she wrote, y'all. That was pretty quick. I need to just go eat, take a shower, and go to bed. that work drains you. Showing photographs of injuries to a child, it does something to your mental uh, state. I'm telling you, it's. I've been doing that for 2017 is what 8 years, almost 8 years. It is rewarding because you're defending those children. There are no more approvals from USCIS. Was there in order for them to close show? What do you mean there are no more approvals from USCIS? We just talked about someone who got his bar approved today. What? Anyway, Mr. Chinedu, you've got to learn to stop being positive. So don't come here and putting something that's not positive, because I'm just going to block you. I know you're my clients. I will block you because we're not sharing things that are not positive. USCIS is still approving cases. They don't have a choice. That's why you can still file your cases. If anything, you need to file and what you qualify for now more than ever. So, but anyway, listen, it doesn't matter who they're going after. No problem with financial lending. It doesn't matter who they're going after. It doesn't matter, who is being detained at the field offices, whatever the case may be. God has brought us this far, and He will do that which He alone can do. I am a living witness, a living testament to the fact that you don't have to figure out how God is going to do it. Just let Him do what He knows how to do best. Because you're going to worry from now till Jesus comes back on something that you cannot change. And the one person, the only, the uncreated creator, that's the only one who can change things and turn impossibilities to possibilities. So why worry about something you cannot do anything about, when you can leave it at the altar of grace and at the feet of Jesus and say, take charge, take all the glory, take over. My yoke is, the burden is placed before you, so that I can be lighter and I can sit back and watch you. There is no battle that God has ever lost. Let me repeat that. No record of any battle that He has ever been defeated on. The undefeated defender. So if He has brought you thus far, if He has brought us this far, like I shared my testimony with you last week, that I said, I did my fasting the first Sunday. Like, I don't know how you're going to figure it out, or you're going to do it. But at this point, I want to stop worrying about this issue, because I know there's nothing I have the power to do. But the Bible says, once has it spoken, twice have I heard it, that all power belongs to God. And if all power belongs to you, that means you can change things that seem impossible. And 2-3 days after that, I got the news that it had been solved and resolved in my favor. There is no battle God has ever lost. So regardless of what's going on in the immigration world, regardless of all the policies, there is nothing that He cannot defend you on. There's nothing that comes your way that you cannot overcome, as long as your trust remains in Him. And so that's why we find the space together every Tuesday and Thursdays, and let's just keep praying for one another. There's no storm that He cannot see us through, because everyone that is in charge of anything on this side of heaven is one that was spoken into existence by God's breath. And if He owns every single life on this earth, there's nobody that He cannot command to favor His own children. So just remember that there is no battle God has ever lost. I'll see you guys on Thursday. You can tell I'm winding down already, so let me go. Bye, everybody.